All right, let me start here. So let me see. This is the overview. What we're going to talk about today is the SAGE, the system requirements, username and password, administrative process, the stipends, NJ Start AA302, the peer documents, panels, and then the deliberation. Okay. So this is the SAGE system. Stands for Systems for Applying for Grants Electronically. You can use a Windows and or a Macintosh as the operating system. You can access it through the internet and or Wi-Fi. You can access SAGE through any smart device that you have. If you have a smartphone, you can do it on your smartphone. You can do it on your laptop. You can do it on your iPad. The web browsers, use Microsoft Edge, Firefox, or Safari. Do not, please. Can everybody, Leonard, can you mute yourself? Do not use Microsoft Edge. Do not use Google Chrome. Why? Let me mute him for a quick second. Let me mute Leonard Grayson. All right, there we go. Do not use Google Chrome. Why? Google Chrome and SAGE are not compatible. So when you start the review process and you start inputting information into SAGE, into the rating sheets, and you're using Google Chrome, what's going to happen is that you're going to see that you're inputting stuff in there and you're going to save it and it's going to save for you. When we look at it at our end, there'll be nothing there. So you're going to have to re-input the information using either Microsoft Edge, Firefox, or Safari. So make sure that you use Google Chrome. Everybody was emailed their username and passwords specific to you guys. And you must have Adobe Acrobat Reader in order to access certain documents for you to review. All right. So you are all registered into SAGE. The website is www.sage.nj.gov. That's www.sage.nj.gov. All right. Let me see what else is here. All right. The administrative process. So everybody has registered with NJ Start and everyone has registered for their AA302, and those that had issues, we got them resolved. Please let me know if you have not received payment, as all payments were processed as of last week. If you didn't get payment, just text me or email me. My cell phone number is 732-289-1896. That's 732-289-1896. Everybody was sent an individual each panel was sent a panel email with the stipend that you're going to receive. Everyone submitted their conflict of interest. Thank you for getting that information to me in a timely fashion. So there are conflict of interest, but no one is in a panel where a conflict of interest exists. The following documents are due by Wednesday. I got, some people are already, panel members are already emailing me the agreement page, the peer overview page, and the specification of services. Make sure that you read those documents, as it will indicate in, I think it's the specification of services and or the agreement page, that all work must be completed in order for you to receive your stipend. So for example, if on the day of deliberation, your initial scores are not in for whatever the reason, and we've made several attempts to reach out to you, we will cancel out your contract with us. And even if you read 10 of the 20 applications and you submitted 10 scores, you're not going to get half the stipend. You're just not going to get any stipend. So make sure that you're able to complete the work so that we can process the payment for you. All right. Panels. Each panel is comprised of three people. No panel is comprised of all first-time reviewers. So every panel is comprised of either all veterans, meaning veterans, people that have reviewed for us in the past. Now, you may have review experience, but you've never reviewed for us. So the panels are comprised of either all veterans and or a mix of veterans and for first time panel reviewers for us rookies, right? So that you'll understand and they'll be able to guide you better. It's a great peer-to-peer process that we've experienced here. All panels will review applications by the category, and I'll go into that in a few seconds. The evaluation process. We require that you provide detailed commentary on each of our criteria. When I go through that on Sage, I'll show you where you will put your comments in the text boxes. NA or not applicable will not be accepted. You have to indicate some type of reasoning why you scored the application based on the matrix that we provide.
I need you to go.
Oh, Tammy, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. All right. All initial scores and comments must be completed and in Sage no later than July 14th, 2022. You will have access to all your applications as of today, June 20th, 2022. So you can go in there and start working on it after today if you want. Those that are a number of you that are on vacation or will be going on vacation, so try to get your initial scores in before you go to vacation, especially those panels that have, 12 or less applications. That way you're not rushed when you get back to do to review your 14. To review your application that's submitted by July 14th. All right. All right. The deliberation process. So after July 14th, the panel members can get together and figure out when they'd like to deliberate, anytime between July 20th and August 10th. That's also including weekends, but if you don't have to do it on a weekend, that'll be great. Now, panels with 12 applications or less will be scheduled a 12-hour block of time to deliberate. Now, the deliberation process is this. You submit your initial scores, you pick a day between July 20th and August 10th for the panels to come together virtually, and then you will review each application line by line, section by section, and you'll agree on the score. And then you'll finalize the score. That's the deliberation process. Now, all applications, except for, I'm just talking about social innovation and special projects. In order to receive a social innovation grant or special project grant, the final score, average score of all three initials scores for project A, application A, and all three final scores for application A must average out to a 70 or higher in order for us to recommend them for funding. If they're 69 or lower, then they won't be recommended for funding. Project Atlas grantees, the average score to be recommended for funding is 60. Why? Because Project Atlas is a capacity building grant for young emerging organizations that have limited to no experience in receiving funds from a funder and or working with the state of New Jersey. And so this is a capacity building grant, and we have coaches that will provide step-by-step instructions and guidance to get them to a place where they'll be able to be more efficient in the day-to-day operations. Now, panels with 20 or more applications will be scheduled up to 6 hours to deliberate. Now, you can wait, panels either 12 or less or 20 or more. You can wait until the day of deliberation to try to deliberate, or you can schedule to meet as a group before your deliberation date to have a conversation about each of the applications. And so on your deliberation date, you can just go right through them. So, but panels with 20 or more, we're going to give you a block of 6 hours. That doesn't mean you're going to stay there for 6 hours, but this is the first time where we, as the Office of Faith-Based Initiatives, have given more than 20 applications to a panel because a lot of the folks that are on our review feel real comfortable with their experience in reviewing for us, and we didn't feel comfortable in expanding into let's say College Ready Panel 1, College Ready Panel 2, because that would have meant that I would have needed to put together a panel of rookie peer reviewers, which would have been challenging. So, and we made the stipend commensurate to the number of applications that you're reviewing. Applicants that are not recommended for funding, of course. Oh, and seed. So seed, you all know, Jasmine, Yamilet, and Krishna, that the written application is 70, the max is 70, and then the pitch is 30. So you guys have 8 applications for seed. So you may not want to wait until July 14th to submit your initial scores. You might want to get your initial scores in, I'm just exaggerating, by next week, and then we can do the peer. We can schedule the pitch anytime after July 10th and before the 14th. So it's really up to you how you guys want to move moving forward, or if you want to schedule the pitch like late July or sometime in August. That's for this.
That's a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, for the 20 or more 6-hour block, can that be done in 2 3-hour blocks, or does it have to all be done at the same time?
No, whatever the panel wants to do. If the panel wants to take the 6 hours and split them into 2 3-hour sessions, that's fine. If you want to go in with a block of 6 hours and then say, let's see how much we can get done in 3 hours, and then if we can knock them out in 3 hours, that'll be fine. I think the best way for the panels to operate that have more than 20 or more applications is to submit your initial scores. Try to get together if you can prior to your deliberation date, get everybody on the same page, understand, how you want to go ahead and what applications you want to do first. If there are any zeros, if any of the peer reviewers scored any zeros in any of their scores, you guys can get together before your deliberation date and hammer those out. Because if I put a 0 in a particular section and Robert Isaiah has his score for that same section of 5, and Leonard has a 4 for that same section, it's either Eddie didn't see something in that section, or Leonard and Grayson or Leonard and Robert didn't really review that section. So you're gonna have to talk about the 0. But other than that, your scores can just move over from initial to final, so long as everybody is okay with those scores. So, but yeah, to your answer, Leonard, you can break it into three 6-hour sections if you like to do that. All right, okay, and the funding catalog. So we have Project Atlas, we have social innovation. So social innovation consists of college readiness, youth entrepreneurship, and STEM. Special project consists of civic and community engagement services to seniors, homework and tutorial, and food security. Earlier this morning, I sent each of the panels the grant guidelines, along with a link to the logic model webinar. So this year, all the applicants needed to submit a logic model that we created for them, to a logic model tool that we created, and they needed to submit. They all watched the logic model webinar. And so what I'll need you to do is, as you're reviewing the application, and I'll show you where to download the logic model, make sure that the logic model that they submitted aligns with the application that they submitted. All right, and I'll quickly go over that. All right, so this is like the logic model. It's a 5-column logic model. It's real simple. A lot of the organizations have a challenging time with logic models. So the webinar talks about the resources, activities, outputs, outcomes, and impacts, explains what that is and what they need to do to align their logic model. The resources column should align with the budget. The activities should align with the program design. The outputs, the goals, the outcomes, the objectives, and the impact is the overall impact that the program will have on the participants. So this should align. Now, for those that are reviewing Project Atlas, understand that these are young emerging organizations that have limited to no experience. And so we want to be able to to get them to a place where we can work with them, with the coaches, to get them to really understand this process. For the other applications, social innovation, seed, and special projects, this you should really put a lot of emphasis on the logic model and its impact on the application. Any questions? No? Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go live. Let me see if I can go live here. Yeah. And just quickly share with you how this thing is going to look. All right. So this is the Sage system. It's www.sage.gov. You click login. You log in. Oh damn! I forgot to do something. So before you log in, let's say you forgot your username and password. So you come to the home page. You click forgot username and password, and then this page pops up, right? So please enter your username. If you forgot your username, you click forgot username, and this page pops up. If you forgot your username, you need to enter the email that you're registered in Sage, which is the email that I sent to you when I sent the panel member information, okay? If you forgot your username, you put that email in there, email me my username, and they'll email you your username. If you forgot your password, you put in your username in the username box and enter the email that was sent to, that you registered in Sage. You click reset my password and email me the new one. What you'll receive is a randomized emails of letters and numbers from Sage. When you get that email with those randomized, password, you can't copy and paste it into Sage, right? You're gonna have to insert each character under password, click login, and then it's gonna prompt you to create a new password, and then you can get in. So let's say everybody got their username and password, you log in. And what you're gonna see is, you're gonna see your name here. It'll say Robert, it'll say Leonard, it'll say Jasmine, it'll say whatever your name. And then you'll scroll down to My Tasks. And then you'll see OFBI Social Innovation. This is for youth entrepreneurship, but if it's for special projects, it'll say special projects. And then what you'll do is you'll open up the drop-down box and you'll see the applications that you need to review. So this is the application number, that's the name of the organization, and the status that you're in is at-home review. So you click the application number and it'll bring you to the application page. You'll see that the funding category is identified here as youth entrepreneurship, and then there's other information there underneath that. If you want to download the PDF file of each application, you hover over management tool, you click full print version, you click that, and then you'll be able to download the PDF version. If you don't want to download the PDF version because you don't want to print lose all that money on printing, you can read each section of the application individually by hovering over Forms menu, scrolling down to Project Summary. Now, the reason why I emailed everybody the grant guidelines is because the only thing you see here is Project Summary and the information that they inputted. What you're gonna wanna do though is make sure that you read the grant guidelines, and let me bring that up right? This is the grant guidelines, and it'll say Project Summary. And then it'll have these two bullets over here. And so what you're gonna have to do is say, okay, what are they supposed to answer in Project Summary? They have to answer these two bullets. And so you go back to the Project Summary page and you say, okay, did they answer those two bullets? And based on that, you write your notes down and you'll do each section. And then you'll go down the tree over in the Forms menu. You'll have the organizational capacity. And in this section, they'll say that, this this is our organizational capacity, make sure that you do the grant guidelines. And then you keep on going further down to the budget pages, right? And so the three or four budget pages are personnel expenses, consulting contracts, other cost categories, and overall budget. And so, you'll review the budget based on the grant guidelines to make sure that they're within the, that they're requested the maximum amount that they can request, which are in the grant guidelines. And that the budget kind of sort of makes sense and that the logic model fits within the budget. In order to get the logic model, you can it's either found under required appendices. It should be on the required appendices. And if it's not, that's the board resolution. If it's not under required appendices, then it should be under appendices. And let me see, social logic model. So here's a logic model here for this organization. You click on the link and you'll be able to download the logic model document. Now, in order for you to begin to input your scores for this particular application, you hover over performance menu, you scroll down to rating sheet, and you click rating sheet. And Sage is kind of like, it's got a little attitude every now and then. So this is the rating sheet, right? And it'll say, and it's aligned with the grant guidelines. And in the rating sheet, it'll break down what they're supposed to answer. So you have the overall score for that particular section, project summary, and then each bullet has a value, right? So the first bullet, the first question is 2.5, the next question is 2.5. After you read it and you score them, if you score them a 2.5, we want to know why did you, I scored them the first bullet a 2.5 because they answered the question fully, there were no gaps, something to that effect. If you scored them a 0 or under a 2.5, you need to indicate in the comment section why, what was missing, what do you think was missing, and or what was there or what wasn't there. Because at the end of the day, when you do the final scores, Sage combines your strength and weakness comments into strengths and weaknesses. And so when an organization doesn't get funded and they want to know why they didn't get funded, we can pull directly from your comments. And then you'll do each section accordingly, right? Organizational capacity, here's the total value for that is 10 points. And then each of these 3 bullets have a value that total up to 10 points, right? And so you'll do the initial scores. After you do the initial scores, you come all the way down for each section. You scroll all the way down, and it'll actually give you the initial scores for the rating sheet. You don't have to, and then you scroll further down and you can indicate under, do you recommend this application for funding? You can click yes, depending on whether it's 70 or higher or no, right? And then you come up to the top and you have to do this. You have to remember to click save because Sage doesn't have an automatic save feature. All right, let me see. Stop sharing. That's kind of it in a nutshell. That is the application review process for each rating sheet. And the steps are the same, whether you're doing civic and community engagement, food security, services to seniors, college readiness, Project Atlas, and or SEED. Any questions about this? I think there was a question in the chat. Let me see. Can 20 audit? Yes, Leonard, I answered that question. So those that have 20 or more applications, the panels are going to have to decide, do you want to do this in 2-3 hour sessions, or do you think we can knock this out in one sitting? Now, I'm blocking it out for 6 hours. That doesn't mean you need to do the 6 hours, right? You can do it in 3 hours, or you can do it 2 hours, take a break for an hour, come back again for another 2 hours, because I'm going to identify somebody to be the host so they can get in and get out of the Zoom meeting. I've recorded this, so what I'll do is I'll upload this to a YouTube link and then send this out to all the panel members. Are there any questions about anything that I asked here? or talked about here? No? Robert, you have a question?
Yeah. And Ed, I hope I'm not being redundant. First of all, can you hear me, Ed?
Yes, yes.
And I hope I'm not being redundant. There on our spread, there were we had 23 applications, but so that 23 apps is being divided among the three panel members. Is that correct?
Well, so that's a good question, Robert. So Robert, Leonard, and Anthony are on the same panel. They all have the same 23 applications. You're all gonna read each application to do your initial scores, right? And then when you come to your deliberation, you're going to all deliberate on each of the same applications. So let's say application A, B, and C. So Robert, Leonard, and Anthony, you read application A, B, and C. And then because they're the same applications, and then at the final, just like you did last year, you'll go over each application, over each section, and say, okay, we all read application A. How did we score application A in project summary? Robert scored it a 2, Leonard scored it a 5, Anthony scored it a 4. You're all good with the score, so then you just give the same score for your deliberation. Okay, how do we do application B? How do we do it in project summary? So you go through each section, and so long as there isn't a 0 anywhere, you can just, if you're comfortable with your score, you can just move that final score over in your deliberation process. Did that answer your question, Robert?
Yes, yeah.
Well, it's the same way that you did last year. So let's say you had 10 applications last year. You all read the same 10 applications, correct?
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So it's the same thing. It's just now you have double.
Okay,
amount.
yeah.
All right.
No problem.
All right. Any other questions regarding what I just said? All right. So I know a couple of you have vacations, and that'll be fine. Just know that the final scores have to be in by the 14th. So try to know that, okay, I have access to the application as of June 20th. I'm going on vacation July, I don't know, 7th. Maybe I can get them all done before I go on vacation, at least the initial score. Because what's going to happen if by July 14th, the initial scores aren't in, I can't schedule a deliberation date for that particular panel. And I'm trying to get everything done by August 10th, if at all possible. And once all the scores are in and the deliberations are done and the pitches are done for seed, then we'll release the stipend to everybody. Oh, here's the thing about the stipend. If you're receiving a paper check and you want to receive a direct deposit, you'll need to go into NJ Start now, well, soon, before we process the stipend payment. If you wait until after the payment is processed and you want a direct deposit, but you received your AA 302 registration reimbursement in paper, you'll receive your stipend in paper. So if you want direct deposit and you don't have direct deposit, you can go into NJ Start, you can call them, you can email them, and they'll work with you to update your information so that it is direct deposit. Any other questions? Everybody good? Yeah, we're good? All right. Anthony, good to see you, brother. Robert and Leonard, good to see you. Dr. Dawn Tyler, good to see you. Darlene, you had a question? No? Oh,
no,
Ed, go ahead,
Ed, that's fine. I did have just real quick. You did say the applications or the final scores got to be in by the 14th of July.
The initial scores,
Okay.
scores.
Okay, and then they're going to be available by the end of the month.
The applications are available now.
Okay.
You can go, so what I'll do is I'll send this link to everybody, this webinar, so you'll know how to get in and start doing things. If you have any questions, you can reach out to your panel members. Darlene, you've done this before for us, but if you have any questions, you can reach to your panel members. If your panel members don't have the answers, you can all reach out to me. You have my cell phone number, 732-289-1896, 289-1896. Antonio, you had a question?
No.
Okay.
Thanks, Ed.
All right, you're welcome, Darlene. Julie, you had a question? Good to see you, Julie. Good to see you, Greg. Good to see you, Hillary, Antonio. Good to see everybody. I'm glad we made it through. Ian, first time I'm seeing you. Good to see you. Well, second time. I'm glad everybody is healthy. Let's try to get this done so we can enjoy our vacation. Because listen, I'm going to Puerto Rico July 4th. I'm not thinking about peer reviewers. I'm not thinking about scores. I'm not thinking about anything, right? So, but I'm going to try to get as much done as I can get done prior to July 4th so that we can move forward. All right, everybody.
Hey, hold on. Hey, Ed.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, this is for Anthony and Leonard. Give me a call on my cell phone as soon as you can this evening, if you can. Maybe after 5. Can y'all do that?
Yeah, they got your cell phone number, so they'll reach out. Anthony and Leonard. So yeah, they'll reach out to you.
Yeah, give me a call after 5, please.
Okay.
All right, Leonard, you
I got
muted.
you.
Leonard, you muted if you're trying to talk.
Yeah, around 7, is that good?
Yes, sir. That's good for me. Anthony,
All
that's
right.
good
Yep,
for you.
yep.
I'll try my best to do 7, absolutely.
Okay, roger that.
All right,
No problem.
everybody.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so everybody has everybody's contact information in the panels. You guys can communicate on your own. If you want me to help you set up a Zoom meeting so you can have a conversation about what you're doing before your initial score, once your initial scores are in, that'll be fine. If you think you're gonna, if you know you're gonna get your initial scores in by the 14th, then maybe the panels can come together and say, hey, on the 14th, let's mail Eddie on the 15th and say, this is our deliberation date. This is the date and time that we want to deliberate. And then I'll schedule the Zoom and I'll send you all the Zoom link. And on that particular day, we'll hop on and then you take it away, okay? So first things first, don't worry about the final scores. Don't worry about deliberations. Worry about getting in the initial scores by July 14th. All right, everybody, any issues? If you get sick, if there's a personal issue and there's just absolutely no way you're gonna get the initial scores in by July 14th, communicate with your panel, communicate with me, and then we can always revise the date because circumstances dictate such, okay?
Roger
All right,
that.
everybody, enjoy your, if you're off today, enjoy your Juneteenth. If you're not, well, I hope you had a good Juneteenth weekend. All right, everybody. Take care, and I'll email you this link by the end of the day. Bye-bye.
Roger
Thank
that.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one, everyone.
Bye-bye.
everybody.